such an asshole.
A long time ago, in a land far, far away called Wisconsin, I was talking to a buddy of mine of the female persuasion who is single and searching. And she said, and she should know better because she's my age. She should know better. And thus begat this story and a conversation while I'm doing this video. So I'm going to help out you ladies, give an olive branch to Teen Girl. Because you all, that's what shocked me the most. I'm like, you're 45. Matter of fact, you're a couple months older than me. Why did you? So neither here nor there. I was shocked at how ignorant she was about this. Because she came to me and said, oh, I met this guy and he's rich. Oh, is he? Well, and I'm thinking, oh, he lives on Lake Pewaukee. He lives out, because I used to grow up in Milwaukee. I'm like, oh, where does he live? Delafield? Where? White Man's Bay? It's Whitefish Bay. It's an inside joke for local Milwaukee people. She said, I said, well, what do you give me some numbers? Because I used to be a banker and I'm an economist. I know. Oh, he makes about $100 million a year. I'm like, whoa. So he makes $100 million a year, like take home? Yeah, I say, well, what does he do? Now, I don't need to identify the guy. But what it turned out is it wasn't he got paid $100 million from his employer. He had $100 million of money under management. And after I said, he does what? I say, are you sure that's not under management? Some people could probably guess what this job of the guy is. She's like, well, I don't know. He has a really nice car. I'm like, yeah, so did every financial deadbeat that ever applied for a loan in my banking career. They all had nice cars and they all borrowed the money because they were poor. They didn't have the money. Just looked like they did. And so I figured now it'd be a good time for an economic lesson for all you ladies out there. And we're going to go because this is, I know, guys, I was and still am one to this day. I know the games we play. But I'm going to explain to you basically what the dude bros. I put my hat on backwards, but I got headphones to do it appropriately. I'm going to tell you the lies basically that they're going to tell you to overstate their income. I'm going to tell you what it all means. And then I'm going to tell you to the best of anyone's ability, absent of getting his tax returns audited or seeing his tax returns, having his balance sheet audited. I'm going to tell the best way you could actually find yourself a rich man or kind of figure out how much. All right, let's go first over the lies. I've written them down here. All right. When a guy says, I did, and you could tell usually if they're a dude bro with the hat on. Hey, look, here's another thing. If he's under 30, he's not rich, okay? Unless his parents are rich. If he's under 30, he's not rich. I don't care how many bottle services he bought you in Vegas. If he's under 30, he's not rich. So that aside, when they say, and the hand's doing this, and they're all gestury, I did X dollars in sales or X dollars in bidnas, which other people call business. That means he's a salesman. All right. Salesmen do not get to keep everything they sell. They are paid a commission, sometimes a base and commission, sometimes just a commission if they're particularly good. And there's no doubt about it. Some salesmen and women can make a very good living. They can be rich making sales. But this may shock you when millions, well, not millions, hundreds of thousands of dude bro business majors are dropped into the labor market every year after they graduate from some worthless college with a BidNas degree. Most of them end up in sales because, terribly sorry, business degrees are pretty worthless unless it's accounting or MIS. Right? So then they all, dude, bro, I landed a job. I have, here's another buzzword, unlimited income earning potential. Salesman. Get nothing wrong with salesmen. Okay. And people got to start out somewhere. But a lot of these dude bros who have no real employable skills end up becoming salesmen. And you're $30,000 naires. I think that's a common complaint with you Texas ladies, particularly Dallas. A lot of $30,000 millionaires. So anytime they say I did, not I earned, not I took home, I did X number in sales or X number in business. That's how much sales they generated, of which they're paid a rather small commission. because the competition is that fierce. So that's not how much they took in. All right. Then there are guys, every guy's a business owner. Oh, I run my own business. They're all employed. Anybody under 30, ladies, they're lying about their income. I did X number in business. This is the same kind of thing as the salesman. My business brought in X amount in revenue. Okay. And what they're talking about is sales. How much in sales did they make? Also revenue. Sales and revenue are synonymous with one another in the accounting world. But that doesn't mean that was his profit. That's just the gross sales that he took in. He's got to pay his employees if he has any, labor costs, contractors, insurance, utility bills. 9 out of 10 times he's a drop shipper on Amazon. Yeah, your business. He runs a business. Okay, sure. Show me your factory. Show me your employees. How is labor and management relations going along today? Anyway, that's how much they took in, and they're not telling you how much they actually took home in profits. Now, I worked in banking for 15 years. I've poured over thousands, literally thousands of tax returns and income statements of businesses and their owners. Very few businesses actually make money. Very few. You'd rather go for a good solid CPA or surgeon, engineer, a computer programmer. They have more take-home pay. But the dude bro business owner, and this doesn't even, we'll remove the 30-year-old rule. I rarely saw successful business owners. Rarely. Now, this is also a function that I didn't work at big elite banks either. I worked at kind of the low-end banks. But generally, if they're not talking about how much they made in profit, that's the key. What was their profit? Usually, I'm not kidding. Mathematically, to be honest, darn well near 95% chance they are barely breaking even. If not, they're losing money. I knew, okay, take your average barista, take your average bartender, take your average waiter or waitress. Right? 15 years, them taking home their $25,000, $30,000, even if it was part-time, they made more than most of the clients I had in banking. Not even clients, applicants, I should say, because we didn't lend all the time. So when they own a business, you want to know what it is, which you might want to know anyway, out of curiosity, if you're going to date the guy and seek him out. And then here's another trick. Ask them, because they'll willingly give up their top figure. How much do you make in revenue? What are your sales like, may I ask? And they will be rushing to tell you that number if they hadn't told you it already. And they will tell you the sales. Now, maybe they'll willingly give up what their take home is. If it's profitable, they will. But now you have two key bits of information that allow you to get a really good idea of how much that guy makes. You have the sales, total sales of the company, and you have the type of business that he's in. This allows you to look up something called Risk Management Associates. It's a service. It's very expensive, but you hopefully don't have to pay for it because you can go to your local library. Larger libraries have a subscription to Risk Management Associates, otherwise known as RMA. And that's what RMA does, is they take a bunch of tax returns voluntarily, and they average the industries based on sales. So you say the sales of the guy, I made $2 million in sales this year. All right. In what? Widgetry. He makes widgets. So you go to RMA, you go to the library, get the RMA data, you look up widget manufacturers. $2 million, you owe $1 to $3 million range. That's where he falls in. And it'll show you cost of goods sold, SGA, all these other expenses, and what his profit margins are very likely. Now, unless he's in a very unique field, like there's not a lot of competitors, it's a unique company or business, those figures are going to be at least in the ballpark, and you'll be able to figure out how much he's taking home. All right. But never believe my company made X amount in business or did X amount in sales or X amount in revenue. All right. That's not what you're going for. You want to know what the profits are. And they might say EBITDA. No, you want the bottom line. What is your net profit? What is your profits after tax? What's left? What do you get to take home? because there's a whole bunch of other accounting numbers above the bottom line. Well, I EBITed, which is EBI, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Well, that's kind of important stuff. Those are real expenses, and they're amortized over time. But don't let them talk over you with accounting jargon. All right. What is the net? What did you report to the IRS? Now, these are two personal questions. I'm not going to answer that, but I'm just trying to give you, that's what you're going for. All right. Then there is, as my friend in Wisconsin, they have X under management. Okay. This is generally in the financial professional field, or asset resources, asset management. And I could be a broker or a financial advisor. And one guy, let's say I'm a flat fee financial advisor. One guy comes walking in. He just inherited all the money from the Pillsbury Corporation. His dad was rich. Hey, Aaron, here's $50 million. Manage it for me. And I get paid my same $55,000 a year to work for whatever financial manager, because they just do flat fee. They don't do percentages. I say, okay, I'll manage that for you. Well, that's not my money. It sounds impressive. Oh, I manage a portfolio of $50 million for one guy who, if I fart the wrong way, is going to fire me and take his money elsewhere. And I'm managing nothing. Right? So all these guys, I have this amount under management. Insurance salesman kind of thing. I have this amount under management. Insurance policies. Well, you don't get to keep all the premiums. That goes to whatever, Allstate, American Family, wherever. And they pay you some little commission off of that. Right? So the asset, I thought, well, okay. What's your percent take? It doesn't hurt to be financially savvy and know the jargon, but that under management is not take home pay. That's just what you're paid. That's like me, it's like being a mechanic on a Ferrari and saying, I own the Ferrari. It's like, no, the guy owns the Ferrari, You're the mechanic. Now go be a grease monkey and change the very, very, very expensive oil that goes into Ferraris. If anyone's ever driven one or knows about the maintenance of them. So there's that. Then they may be honest. They may say, I make X. I make 100,000. Okay. But it's much more important than, okay, well, what are your expenditures? Because presumably, I'm not even saying that the women want the men to spend the money on them. All right. You're not going to complain if you get a nice dinner or anything like that. What women really want, I'm going to assume, I'm not one. I'm just, my agents in the field say they probably want stability. You want the guy to have his act together so you don't have to worry about money anymore. Maybe you could stay at home and take care of a family. Maybe you're not slaving away 60 hours a week trying to pay off your student loans or whatever else. All right. But as I've seen in bank, I've known guys that make a lot of money, and I've seen them piss. I knew a couple that made over 300 grand. 300 grand. Like, dude, you give me 300 grand. You'll never see me again. I'm retiring in 2 years. I'm out of here. They spent 310. I had to file for bankruptcy. All right. So you got to look at the spending too. Okay. So signs of spending, a rich, fancy car. Okay. That's the big dead giveaway, because boys are given equal propaganda that you girls like it when a guy has a big, fancy car or truck, more commonly nowadays. Another one, do they have dude, bro, I got a sweet place in downtown, and they're paying an egregious sum of rent to rent this condo or this flat or whatever the Europeans call it. All right. And you could start doing the numbers. You could start figuring it out, saying, oh, okay, well, that apartment is $3,500 a month. His car payment, that's got to be at least $800. So now we're at $4,200. Well, what is 42 times now? 4,200 times 12. What are we at? 48. What am I doing the math? 50 grand in expenses. All right. Now, there's got to be some food, clothing, and shelter in there. He presumably has debts he's got to pay down. And then, what else was I going to say? Bottle service going out. That's a huge expense going out. That's a huge. Are they always out partying? What the heck was the other thing I was going to say? Saving 401k. Oh, it escaped me now. taxes. I forget about the taxes. So let's say a guy makes, let's say he's honest. He makes $130,000 a year. Well, if you're in New York or California or in a major metro for that area, he's maybe after rent, certainly after rent. He's taking maybe half of that back. Taxes will wipe you. You're start 140, 150. Certainly your 200s. Half your money is out in taxes. State, federal, local, sales, property, all that other stuff. Then you got rent, all your basic living. He doesn't have that much left over. So if you're bored, what you could do is once you start figuring out his spending, one side of the equation, figure out what his taxes are, another side, then his income, you should be able to deduce what his expendable income is that is left for things that might provide stability, saving for a down payment on a house, paying off debts, maybe going back to get some additional training, like for good employable schooling, buying you a nice wedding ring, not to put the financial incentives in there. And this, is that a lot? Is that enough? You have to audit, reverse audit. It's forensic accounting is the official term. If any of you girls are looking for a very well-to-do CPA, his name is Chad Elkins, and I will set you up with him immediately, as long as you're good looking. So he will tell you all about forensic accounting. But you have to do a little bit of yourself. And if you know some basic math, you can look up tax rates. You'll be able to figure out pretty quickly what this guy has left in his bank account, or if he's constantly late on his credit cards, which again, I will report to you ladies that every posing dude bro, peppered-haired, successful businessman I had was always late on his credit card, always overdrawn his accounts, had more liabilities than assets, and was technically insolvent. And most of them did end up going bankrupt. The housing crisis was an amazing thing. So it's not just how much they make. Even if they're truthful, you got to figure out what is their take home, what is their net. And then the best, even though this is not going to get it, you know, they're not going to say this because most guys don't even know this number. What you really want is their adjusted gross income. Taking spending aside, what you want to take out with taxes, you want to take out this, you want to take out that, without the sales and the dude bro, and oh man, I'm under management, I brought in, I did. No. His adjusted gross income on his 1040 form, that is what you want. Again, not a lot of guys carry their 1040 form with them. Say, hey, look at my AGI. But if you got an AGI 60 grand and up, that's really good. That's better than average. It may also, here's another thing, this isn't part of the thing, but free advice, sponsored by assholeconsulting.com. I know you girls want a guy that makes X amount of money. What you need to do is go out and look at the income distribution among single men to find out what percent of men have said income or more, if you'd like. If I recall correctly, married men make a lot more money. That's why they're sought after. But single men, I think the median income is like only 40. So either 44 or 48, somewhere in the mid 40s. Okay. That's all men from 18 to dead. Of course, older, they retire, they don't make as much. Young men, they don't make as much. But your average, you know, with the peak earning years, average single dude don't make that much. So you might want to see what the income distribution is for single men. And then finally, here's probably the best way to find out how much a guy really makes. Find out what his job is. Now, of course, though, if he's self-employed, he has a business, do that RMA, Risk Management Associates technique. But all you have to do is find out what his job is. And you can go on Google and just type BLS and his job title and look up the data, the median income for someone. And they'll say mid-career, they're making, 10 years in, mid-career, that number is published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So I'll get you all so if he's I'm trying to think what's a kind of a general, he is an account manager. Type in account manager, BLS, boom, there's your data. He's a train engineer, train conductor engineer, BLS, boom. And then if presumably you're going to be younger, if you're still dating and courting and not married. So another thing you do is just type in on Google, train conductor, starting salary. And you're going to get very close to the ballpark as to how much he makes. Right? Now here is the final bit of parting advice I will give you. And I understand that you would prefer to date and marry someone who is rich as opposed to poor. That secret is out. Men know. And so now what you're going to have is a bunch of guys peacocking. They're going to fake it. You're $30,000 millionaires in Dallas. Your dude bros buying bottle service at Vegas as they go into debt and put their entire thing on their credit card because they don't really have the money. And they're drop shipping business magnates who still live at home or mom and dad pay for their rent, that kind of thing. You want to be able to separate these peacocks from the real men who have wealth. Sorry to say, the real men that have wealth are like me, old. And not even like, they're older than me. I don't got that much wealth. But it's only common sense, because the older you are, the more time your investments have to grow. And it's these slow and steady guys that have the real wealth, these millionaires next door. I've told the story again. I told it in a couple of the books I've written. The two richest guys I ever ran into in my entire time, one was a dentist, and he drove a Ford Ranger used. The other was a shoe store owner, and he just sold shoes. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't Silicon Valley. It wasn't investment banker over in New York, Wall Street. It was a shoe store owner and a dentist. And this is where you got to figure out what you want. Do you want, when you're younger, fine. You want the flashy, fun guy? And here's the thing. If you're not interested in marrying the guy, who gives a crap how much money he actually has or whether he saves religiously in his 401k? As long as he spends the money, as long as he throws you the money, fine. I'm intellectually honest. If you're not, fine. Dude bro Jim from Sigma Phi is going to drop some of his dad's money or go into debt to buy you bottle service to maybe get to play a little bit. Well, fine. Let him go ahead. But if you want a guy who's financially stable, ideally rich, but let's just say financially stable, that is not good. Those guys don't go out and waste their money at nightclubs. They don't go buy bottle service. They don't rent cars they can't afford. You wouldn't know them. Technically, you wouldn't be able to identify them from poor people. I've known rich people. I know some rich people you wouldn't know anything about. They live in normal apartments. They got humble homes. Their money goes into investments. And a lot of them, this is just the way it is, ladies. A lot of them, their old men got divorced and they've seen their buddies get divorced. And like, how much money? So they hide it. To give a reference to some Dragon Ball Z nerds, they hide their power level. And so what you got to do is, it's really going back to that Bureau of Labor statistics and some common sense that you know as well. You want to find a stable guy who makes a good amount of money, ideally rich, but just stable, could support a family, not bumming money off of you. All right, here you go. Bureau of Labor statistics. And then you look up things that you already know the answer to. Actuaries, accountants, engineers, dentists, sure, doctors, no longer lawyers. Lawyers are po. They are po. Law school wipes out. There's too many of those. Markets flooded. Captains of in commercial airlines, not was it first officers or there's seniority. The airline industry is very volatile. What else is there? Computer programmers. Those are the guys who have wealth. I wouldn't say they're necessarily rich. And I wouldn't even necessarily say that they're guaranteed to be rich, but they're stable. If you're looking for a quality guy who's going to make a stable husband who ain't going to sponge off of you and need a bailout, those are your guys. I know. They're not as sexy or as exciting as, dude, bro, I'm wearing sunglasses indoors and it's night outside. How crazy am I? I know. Those guys are just so intelligent and funny and zany, man. Wow. And I know it's maybe they're not going to go to, what's it called? Aria in downtown Vegas. They may just sit and program and get certified as a certified Microsoft engineer. They may just study. But those are your guys. They do have personalities every once in a while. They do. But yeah, just, for the savvy gals I've had, not to bore you with the details beyond this, had 4 gals email me consulting, as you can see down below, and they wanted to find a traditional guy. And I said, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to the clubs. And I'm on it. I'm like, no. You do not go to the nightclubs. You do not go to the nightclubs. Oh, okay. You got to go out. You got to date a lot. You got to pay attention. You got to listen to what they're saying. And, look at their careers. The career would be your number one determinant. CPA? Yes. Salesman over at Dubro Jim's car lot? No. Engineer, chemical engineer for Halliburton or British Petroleum? Yes. Nonprofit assistant reserve director at the Yay Good For Us Feelings Good Time Happy Hour comedy show? No. I don't care how many master's degrees he has. No. Anyway, there you go. Got questions? Contact me on that website. All right, we got some comments here. Holy cow. Look at that donation. DJ Aftershock for $5. Dude, bro. I know. I've gotten this before. Dude, bro, you mad you couldn't handle the heat in banking? Me and Mitzi gonna get some martinis in Manhattan. And I made $5 million in sales from what my nerds made. Oh, that is so. Everyone they say, dude, you couldn't hack it in banking. I'm like, I did 15 years. You don't want to hack it in banking. Make more out of banking. Why would you want to be in banking? I didn't do anything in banking anyway. You just sit there and look at me and he's like, should we lend money to this guy? I'd go, no, you're not a team player. You and your numbers. What do you know, man? It's like, there's a housing crash coming and we shouldn't lend out at 80% loan to value. We should lower it to 60. I recommended that once. They thought I was nuts. Hey, all you dude bros. Yeah, at least I didn't need to get bailed up by the taxpayer. Oh! At least I didn't need to suck off the taxpayer teat, huh? Which is true. Robert Flores, dang, Rob, $20. What happened? Did you find Jesus? Fun things to do in West LA restaurant. I would mention my expensive fun things to do in West LA. Is West LA nice? I don't know, Rob. You're going to have to help me out here. Restaurant, I would mention my expensive car and mention my work done for the mayor of LA to my friend, and invariably young women around us couldn't help but straining their necks looking towards me. Yeah, see, and that here's what's great is when women, what few women outside of our normal treehouse club for it here we got going on. Once they're like, oh my gosh, are these? Then when they find out, the other part of me, they're really like, oh, I can't believe it. But it doesn't change anything. This is true. I'm not worried about this information getting out. I just wanted to, I'm on vacation. Now I get to do videos I want to do, not requests all the time. Everyone's like, I thought you were on vacation. I had to catch up with all the other requests that came in that were backlogged up to 10 days. Then I had to do a podcast. I haven't done that in a while. And now I get to do my own originals. Isn't this nice? Yeah, so that mayor of LA. Are they attracted to that? I guess so. Government power, sure, why not? DJ Aftershock for $5. Dude, I'm hanging with Thaddeus in his iconic yellow. Oh, God. Because you were in the Twin Cities that time too. There was a guy who had a yellow Lotus, and he would drive around the Twin Cities, and magically it went away when the housing bubble crashed. Where'd he go? Dude, I'm hanging with Thaddeus in his iconic yellow Lotus on Orono with my wife from St. Kate's. Yo, I'm a pretty big deal real estate developer. Look up Big Island Hedge Fund or Big Island, because that's out in the Lake Wayzata area or Lake Minnetonka area. There was some. I forget. I'll look it up so you guys can look at it. But it's the classic story of hey, we're an asset management company. They just took $2 million and the next day they bought Ferraris and boats. And the people are like, wait a minute, what? Didn't even bother investing the money. Our Latino agent in the field, Miguel Angel Casillas for $5. Man, you found a keeper when she gets the tingles and excited at you as you recount profit and loss statements to her. Marry that girl. Hey, accountants make great women. And ladies make great accountants. I'll tell you two things women are better at men at. One, editors. I will never hire a male editor because they just read for the content and, oh yeah, I like the story. I'm like, no, I need mistakes. And man, women love nothing more than finding a mistake with a man. And they will find them. Trust you, me. And then accountants. Same thing. They make great accountants, very attentive. Oh, look at that. Very meticulous. So yes, women make great accountants and good and female accountants make good women. Like nurses, those are good. Yeah. So for you guys, you want the dating advice, look for nurses and accountants. Those are good gals. M2PG4 for $2. Okay, to stop investing if you want to pay down debt. It depends on the interest rates. Like if you got a credit card debt that's accruing at 23%, and your next best option is to invest in the stock market, dude, that pay down that interest or pay down that credit card. That's a 23% rate of return investment guaranteed. There's no risk on paying down your debts. But if you got like student loans or your mortgage at what, 3.25%, 3.4%, whatever, and the stock market just crashed and dividend yields are around 4%, and you got the upside for capital gain, then you might want to throw it into the stock market. It depends. What pays the higher interest rate? Adjusted for risk. But I'm usually all for paying down debts because you can't go wrong with it. You just can't. Would I have had more money had I not paid off my house early versus if I invested? Yeah, sure, probably. But man, there's nothing better than just not having a mortgage to pay. It's nice. Oh. That's good. Atham again for a dollar super sticker, which I can't see. Chris Puckett, who's helped me in the past. Thanks for the help, Chris, on the YouTube thing. Advertising sales started at $50K a year. By year 5, 300 a year in New York City, $500K 10 years on. Right. See, you can make good money as sales. You can. But I'd argue that Chris is the exception, not the rule. I mean, just look at realtors. I mean, how many of them actually go and make versus like, I tried. Maybe I can do this with my liberal arts degree. Oh, I have to get out in the cold. Dylan Doe for $5. Thousandaires are what we call the people on the other side of the bridge in Miami from the real. What bridge? Hang on. Now you got me curious. There's a bridge in Miami? Is there a main bridge? I thought you got some keys. You mean like the people who have the money are on the keys and you got to take a bridge to go to the mainland? Like mainland's Poe and the keys are Rich? Key Biscayne. Biscayne? Oh, well. I flew into Miami, got a car, drove to the Keys. That was it. I never spent a lot of time in Miami. Casanario, $5. I'm 24. I'm working as an apprentice under my father. He's a truck driver, makes $150,000 a year with only one truck. Small business and trades good too. Yeah, see, but that you're not sexy, Casanato. Your name's sexy. Keep the name. But they're not like, I'm a truck driver. Oh. Ladies, what do you want? Do you want a good, hardworking guy who can actually support a family, or is it status? Do you want a shiny boyfriend? Do you want a pretty husband? Look, what's a pretty husband? He's a project manager. He manages projects. He's all managerially with the projects. Oh, he's so shiny and cute. Look, he wears a polo. Oh, gross. No, I don't want to go with you. You drive a truck. That's gross. I presume they all think the truck. There's so much true of the stereotype that truck drivers are fat, and they are. So that's working against you. I don't know. What would you say? What would you put on your dating profile? Logistics manager, transportation manager, transportation something. You'd have to euphemize it up. Journey Trials of Joy, $5. I work for my dad making $1,000, but it's not a job where I get healthcare and other insurance while working towards my bachelor's in computer science. Well, good, Journey. $1,000 what? Per hour? Per year? Per week? We gotta know. Nonstop Dre, $360 for $2. But Cappy, the smart guys hide their power level. Yes, they do. I've consulted several men. Like, you shut up about them. These guys. You've heard them before. We keep them anonymous. Cappy, I'm 31. I majored in computer engineering. I saved my money. My house is paid off. What do I do with this $150,000 in cash? I'm like, Well, did you have any debts? No debts. I guess a diversified portfolio of investments. Had one client, I can't say what or who. Top guy. Not only was he had a great profession, but then he got into executive management of that profession. And he was showing it. He was showing his flash and his cash. Like, why can't I find a girl? They're all crazy. They're really hot, though. I'm like, God, one, get rid of that car. Two, don't you dare tell them what you do. And three, you get rid of that fancy ass house you got. One guy, big house. What do you need that house for? Oh, I don't know. I got the money. Okay. I have money for things, but that doesn't mean I go buy them. But yes, and unfortunately, ladies, that's the arms race. The smart guys are, they're going to just keep quiet. They're not going to let you know. Journey trials, that's $1,000 a week. Okay, so you make 52 grand a year. That's better than the median income in the United States for an individual. And that's higher than average than the what's it called? Average single guy. Dillando for $4. Miami Beach isn't Miami. It's all rented Lambos. Well, now I'm going to go back to, there's Miami Shores, North Miami. Oh, Miami Beach. Okay. So you're saying it's the other way around. The people on Miami Beach are all renting the Lambos and it's touristy, and then the real money is on. Okay. What was it? There's a joke in Phoenix. People who live in Scottsdale like to talk about their investments in Phoenix. And then the response to that, yes, but people in Paradise Valley like to talk about all the investments they have in Scottsdale. Because Scottsdale is like more known, but Paradise Valley is where the real money. By the way, if you're ever in Phoenix and you end up going through Paradise Valley, follow the speed limit, because I don't think they have property taxes. They pay for everything with light traffic tickets. Okay? So just obey the laws there. Camelback Peak. Atham, look that up. Camelback Peak is out there. You might want to go hiking. Nonstop Drake girls. But Cappy, he doesn't have a PhD like me. That's another discussion. No one's paying me for that. I wasn't paid. I'm not going into that. It's going to take too long. It's out of the purview of this discussion. Let's just keep it at one olive branch we've handed to the ladies to help them out. Okay. There we go. Lynn H. I'm a female accountant, so thanks for the compliment. Okay, well, there you go, sweetheart. You're doing good, real work. That's all. It's just true. It's true. I'm not. All right, maybe one more original. I don't know. Maybe I'll just hop in the show. Cappy ran. Do you see my sweaty? Oh no, it dried out. I have this nice sweat patch right here because I ran indoors. Oh. Swallow Blue 5. What will happen first? Student loan forgiveness or 401k confiscation? Oh. Student loan forgiveness. Because there's a huge reason not to confiscate the 401ks. It will destroy the stock market. And in doing so, it will also destroy the financial, what assets all governments have, state, federal, and local, because understand what their pensions, they take the money out of the paychecks of the government employees and they throw it in investments. And they're already a shortfall on investments. If they were to start confiscating 401ks, the money into the stock market would dry up. The value of those investments would drop down, and whatever tax revenues may have accrued at the state, federal, or local level by confiscating people's retirement funds would immediately go down, and just they'd have to shell out that much more money on their pension assets or pension accounts. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.